Right now, we're in nothing but thick, dense forest. They say one of the things that attracts a Bigfoot is if you knock on a tree.
I want evidence that's going to kind of tell me, yes, there's a possibility Sasquatch exists, or there's no evidence whatsoever. The government has admitted that Sasquatch is real.
Bigfoot, a creature that is said to roam the forests of the United States and Canada.
Well, my name is Roland. My subject matter is Sasquatch. I prefer the term Sasquatch to Bigfoot, but either is fine.
Bigfoot is also referred to as Sasquatch, and the most common description is as a large, hairy, ape-like or humanoid creature that stands anywhere between 6 to 10 feet tall.
And so your experiences first started when you were 14 years old.
Yes.
When you started studying, have you ever had an actual paranormal experience with Sasquatch or any other type of subject matter, aliens, dogs?
Sure.
Nothing yet. Let's go deeper in.
I did have two experiences with what I would call demons, and this was shortly after I became saved.
The name Bigfoot originates from a group of men working for a logging company out of California in 1958. They started calling this mysterious figure Bigfoot. Eventually, their story as well as a cast of the footprint would appear in a local newspaper, and thus the legend of Bigfoot began.
Paul Freeman footage. This footage was captured in 1994 by Bigfoot hunter Paul Freeman. The clip shows a Bigfoot walking in front of the camera, looking at Paul Freeman.
Oh, there you go. You believe in demons.
Absolutely.
You believe that they can shapeshift? Like,
Yeah, I don't see why not.
yeah, right.
Their energy.
So my understanding is they can shapeshift. I've seen it, I've caught it on video. I wonder if they take things that we enjoy pursuing and then they appear, as these types of subject matter, possibly.
Mhm.
Something's emulating Bigfoot, and that's why some of them, they're so elusive, because they're there and then they're gone. How did you first get started? I mean, what was your first experience that said, yep, Sasquatch is it for me. I'm going to spend the next 38 years, doing this?
In 1975, a movie came out called The Legend of Bigfoot. My father took me to the movie theater in Laurel, Maryland, and I don't even think the theater's there anymore, but when I saw that movie, I was hooked, not just on Bigfoot, but all things paranormal.
Most alleged sightings occur in Northwest America, but spread across the entirety of North America, especially in rocky and forest-dense areas like the Great Lakes region.
Bigfoot sighting on Michigan Live Eagle Cam. An Eagle Cam set up to monitor an eagle family's progress by the state's Department of Natural Resources and outdoor website Carbon TV. allegedly caught a Bigfoot walking on two legs, going around trees and bushes on the forest floor beneath the eagle nests. In the clip, baby eaglets peep in the nest when the creature suddenly pops up. The camera was mounted to a tree near the Platte River State Fish Hatchery, about 30 miles west of Traverse City, placed there to highlight a bald eagle nest.
And let me hurry and say the evidence is not proof, but a preponderance of the evidence can provide proof.
Right.
You can commit a murder without a body if you have the preponderance of the evidence. And the way I look at Sasquatch, the way I study Sasquatch, is based upon how Sherlock Holmes solved crimes. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle had Holmes solve crimes with this adage: if you eliminate the impossible, that which remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
I was just sitting here knocking on the tree. The stick broke, and then my camera just shut itself off. All by itself, said goodbye, and it shut itself off. And normally, like when I've done this in the past where we've hunted paranormal, if there's something around us, it would cause the batteries to die, it would cause the cameras to shut off. I'm going to look at the battery right now. Battery is 3/4 of the way full. There was no reason for this camera to shut itself off. It's not timed to shut off on its own. It just shut off.
So how do I apply that to Sasquatch? Give an example, Patterson-Gimlin, the 1967 film.
On the day in question, the men were researching Sasquatch reports near Bluff Creek in California. They were on horseback and came across an overturned tree. As the pair rounded the tree, they spotted a large figure beside the creek. At the sight of the Bigfoot, Patterson's horse reared. Roger quickly untangled himself from the straps and spent about 20 seconds removing the camera from his saddlebag. By the time he began to film the creature, Patterson was 120 feet away. Roger Patterson began to run after the Bigfoot with his 16mm camera. He stopped at a distance of about 80 feet and captured the most famous section of the film. The Sasquatch looks over its right shoulder at Roger, who then falls to his knees. The creature has long arms, a coned head, a ridge down the spine, a slow walking pace, and a prominent brow ridge. In the clip, the creature turns at the men a total of 2 times. Shortly after the final glance, the Bigfoot walks behind a grove of trees, reappears for a second, and then walks away.
I can't say for sure that we'll ever see a Bigfoot in our lifetime, much less see one out here, but a couple of things have been rather odd to me today that have taken place already.
Well, here's why that is not possible to be a man in a suit. There are several reasons. Number one, arm to leg ratio. Now, humans, and we have to credit a gentleman named Thinker Thunker for coming up with this, and he's a YouTuber and he's a videographer, expert in that field. But humans have what's called a arm to leg ratio of plus 20. In other words, our legs are about 20% longer than our arms. And it doesn't matter if you're 7 foot 4 Shaquille O'Neal or your little 4'11" Billy Shoemaker. Well, but on the other end of the spectrum are the great apes, the chimps, the gorillas. They have a minus 20. In other words, their arms are about 20% longer than their legs, which is the exact opposite of us, of humans.
Glare now and then. Sunshine.
Where does Sasquatch fall? His arms and legs are about the same length. In the Patterson-Gimlin film, the arms and legs are about the same length, and if you do the measurement on the arm, That's the arm. There's no extension. From the elbow to the hand of the hand and the elbow to the shoulder are the same length. That's number one.
We were told this is private property and we had the right to be out here. And now Denise is hearing human footsteps over this way in the woods, and right after I tree knocked the first time right here in this location, my battery went out and died. And now we're hearing like screaming sounds, but we're not hearing any
Running sound.
you're hearing running? Could be deer.
Number two is the characteristic walk, hip thrust, and how high the leg comes. There is a 17-degree difference between humans and Sasquatch when we walk, and that refers to the trailing shin. So when you bring a leg forward, the other leg trails, and it has an angle to the ground. Sasquatch has a trailing shin that is much closer to the ground than humans do. And humans are not built to walk like that. They've tried it. They've tried to mimic this walk of the Patterson-Gimlin. Can't do it. Humans typically walk heel toe.
Right.
Sasquatch, flat foot.
Huh.
The other interesting thing about the foot is humans have arches, unless you have fallen arches, but you still have arches, they're just fallen.
Right.
Sasquatch has what's called a mid-tarsal break in the foot that allows the foot to hinge up. It's fascinating how, in fact, you can even see this in the Patterson-Gimlin film. When he's walking over the terrain, the front of the foot will actually come up when he's walking. Humans can't do that. The foot is a rigid platform for a human.
Look, I'm hearing something over behind us now. You hear that? I'd like to catch some deer on video. That'd be awesome. No, the wind's picking up now. I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind's picking up. It was nice and still. And now that we've been out here for about an hour, we're getting all sorts of strange anomalies going on here.
Now, what he is, that's a different question. I personally believe flesh and blood, most likely subhuman, but if not, then another creature, like a bear, a wolf. But so there are several things in this video that make it impossible to be a person in a suit, much less the guy that said it was him. There's also the movement of the muscle under the fur that you can actually see.
You think it's actually a real living, breathing creature that...
I do.
The majority of these sightings happen when it's dark, which naturally makes Bigfoot even harder to identify, but has also led to the idea that he is a nocturnal creature. We are still no closer to finding Bigfoot, but one thing is for sure, there is no shortage of people willing to continue this search.
Feels like we've walked a couple miles. Easy. Never did hear anything. Well, I take that back. We heard something yell in the distance after I tree knocked. I think we found our way out of here.